Hey guys, check it out. You're watching Jonathan Clarke on YouTube. Oh no. You girls are incredibly sweet. You blow my mind every single night on this YouTube channel by how you hit the subscribe button. You just don't care. All you want is just a sweet guy to talk about Descendants and Zombies for you, and that's all you've ever wanted out of all of your lives. Thank you so much for the love and support you've shown this YouTube channel. So if you think I'm incredibly sweet, you think I'm incredibly kind, please hit my subscribe button, because I love talking about Descendants and Zombies for each and every one of you. You really don't care as long as some guy shows up on YouTube and he tells you that Zombies 5 will happen. Because Zombies 5 will happen. I don't know where these other critics on YouTube are getting away with the philosophy that Zombies has seen its end, and we're not going to see any more supernatural creatures. There are still mermaids and witches to surface. There are still goblins and trolls and stuff that can fly like unicorns. I'd even go for unicorns in the Zombies franchise, man. I'm not closing the book on this yet. Especially when I have like 5,000 sweet girls hitting my subscribe button who love Descendants and Zombies. I'm not discouraging anybody from the thought of Zombies 5 ever happening. I mean, if you're a girl who loves Descendants or Zombies, hit my subscribe button, man. I love seeing my subscribers going up all the time. And I will tell you a story about Descendants and Zombies for the rest of your lives, every single night on this podcast, because I cherish this podcast so much. And I cherish these two franchises. They will forever hold a special place in my heart. I don't know where all these guys are getting off with telling you guys that Zombies has reached its end. It really hasn't, because if Zombies wants me to go out in a boat and watch mermaids jumping up out of the sky, I will take them up on that opportunity any day of my life, for the rest of my life, because there's just something about mermaids. They're beautiful creatures. And I think that if aliens can somehow find a way into the Zombies franchise, then mermaids can. So if Disney calls me up, or if Meg Donley calls me up for that matter and says, hey Jonathan Clarke, do you want to go on a speedboat excursion? And we park out in the middle of the ocean, and mermaids just start jumping up out of the water for no explanation whatsoever, with no explanation even being offered, I will gladly take myself up on that opportunity, because I've always read novels about mermaids. I live on an island where there are a lot of legendary stories and tales that have been told about mermaids. There was a book that I read years ago. It was called Amanda Greenleaf. And I met the author of the book. His name was Kevin Major. And it was about a mermaid who fell in love with a man on land. And there were several novels written of that. And I remember reading it when I was in elementary school. It was a children's book. And it was so beautiful. And then I read the Little Mermaid book. Many of you probably are too young to remember the Little Mermaid novel. But, of course, Eric dies in the book. And there's a lot of depressional things that are discussed in the book. But I did remember reading the Little Mermaid book. And it was gorgeous. It was absolutely beautiful. I've loved mermaids all of my life. So the chances of seeing mermaids in Zombies 5, by the time we get to that, whatever was in that Vortex, I really don't know. We'll find out more about it as the release window etches closer for Zombies 5, but I'd go for mermaids, and I'd go for witches too. I don't know if I have any stories about witches. I have a lot of encounters with vampires. I've had a lot of encounters with people who thought they were werewolves. But I don't know if I even have a story about a witch. The closest thing that I have for a story about a witch would be when my girlfriend's daughter passed away. She started doing witchcraft to try to contact her daughter after she passed away because of a bleed on the brain, but that was years ago. I don't have many stories about witchcraft or witches, but I do think that the origin of witches, seeing their introduction into the Zombies franchise, would be beautiful too, because witches are very innocent too on times, and I think that they could add a lot of unpredictability to the Zombies franchise. But I think the excitement is revolving around the introduction of mermaids into this franchise, and I would really go for that. I would love to be a part of the Zombies franchise. If you girls would be so kind to hit the subscribe button and get Jonathan Clarke in as the director, I would love you forever for it, because I think there's a lot of action that could be added into this. I've always wanted to live the Tom Cruise kind of life. So that means, dangling from the propeller of a helicopter, driving cars at top speed like Fast and Furious Fast. Are any of you old enough to remember that movie Speed years ago, where the bus could have blew up if it went under 50 kilometers per hour? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. In a car, top speed, outrunning like thousands of zombies, and you're saying to yourself, hey, Jonathan Clarke, how are you going to outrun thousands of zombies by driving just a car? I don't know. I wanted to go drag racing against a Mustang earlier today, and I seriously thought about doing it as I got closer to the mall. But then I realized I had to live because I had to buy a new headset for the show, and I didn't want to vicariously die and never be able to produce this podcast and die in a massive explosion. I don't know, but there was just the thought of being in a high-speed chase against the thousands of zombies, you against the world. I love that. And I would also, I'd love to see Zed probably have a brother in this kind of thing. So, I'd love to be Zed's brother. A more handsome, stronger, older brother who could be very wise and offer a lot of wisdom in zombies. You see, the point I'm trying to make is there are so many chapters that could be written and that have yet to be written and have to be seen for the Zombies franchise. All we got at a Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires were that Nova and Victor were seeing each other in their dreams. And that was an incredibly beautiful analogy and a beautiful way of introducing us to the new Zombies franchise and the characters that will carry on the torch and the legacy of Mila Manheim and Meg Donley. I saw you because I saw you in my dreams, and we met because I saw you in my dreams. That's absolutely beautiful. I've always wanted to meet a girl that I saw in my dreams. More times than enough I thought I did, but they've never wanted anything to do with me because, as you see there in the back there, all I do is play video games. I must have every PlayStation 5 video game there is to have accumulated. I just bought the new Indiana Jones earlier today. I always used to love when I would be in a relationship with a girl and they would have a daughter that loved Descendants and Zombies, and I guess they used to get really frustrated with me because I would sit down and I would watch the entire franchise. If the girl wanted to watch all 3 Descendants movies or all 3 Zombies movies, I didn't care. I had nowhere to go, nowhere to be, nothing else to do. So I just wanted to put a smile on their face and make them happy. The girl would probably try to reason with their daughter about how they couldn't stay up late and watch Descendants and Zombies, and then the girl would freak out because she didn't want to listen to her mom, and I always thought her mom was the crazy one because I love Descendants and Zombies so much. So I would always, I would crack under pressure. I would cave in, and I would always end up having to watch Descendants and Zombies from beginning to end. And I don't think they knew that I was a podcaster at the time, but I was really searching for a niche. I was searching for an escape, and Descendants and Zombies became my light of the darkness because I was talking about a lot of stuff on the radio that didn't make sense to me, didn't really add up, wasn't attracting a lot of subscribers, and you guys saved my show. You not only saved my show, but you saved my life. Because your kindness is just unbelievable. The kindness from the heart of a Descendants or Zombies fan is something that I will forever praise up on this YouTube channel and give you a profound amount of credit for having been. I know I come on here and I say a lot of crazy things, but I got to do that as a YouTube creator to grab your attention so that you watch these videos. If you shut this video off and hit X within the first 2 minutes of this video, my purpose is not fulfilled. If I can't make you laugh and make milk come out through your nose, then I feel like I let myself down and I let every fan of this franchise down. So there's no better feeling in the world when you know that somebody is feeling engaged by your content and wants to see your next video on Descendants or Zombies. So the best way you can let me know that is by lighting up your phone like a beacon of light and hitting my subscribe button, because I promise you, you will not regret it. I might not be the best Descendants or Zombies YouTube channel out there, but I like to believe that I am, because I really do love Meg Donley. I think she is an incredibly strong person. I think she's an incredibly strong person because she is just incredibly beautiful, so overflowing with talent and emotion, and just how she wanted to be a zombie from 1 minute to a werewolf the next minute to an alien the next minute, and was the embodiment of all these characters with the exception of a vampire, which surprised me we didn't see a transition from her into a vampire by the time we got to Zombies 4 Dawn of the Vampires. Perhaps we will see, I don't know, somebody turn into a mermaid. If Meg Donley has anything to do with it, she'll probably make a cameo. Perhaps she will tease turning into a mermaid, I don't know. Based off all of these photoshopped images we get for Zombies 5. I made a really cool Zombies 5 thumbnail that you clicked on to watch this video. So if you did, thank you so much. I've been incredibly supportive of Meg Donley. I will forever come out swinging for Meg Donley, because to go on TikTok or on YouTube and talk about your battles with anxiety and depression and your mom's battle with cancer, I have a profound amount of respect for Meg Donley for having the courage to do it, because it takes a lot of courage to really put yourself out there, to throw yourself out there, because you don't know how anyone's going to perceive you. You don't know what anyone's going to think of you. And she's doubted herself a lot. And she's doubted herself for far long enough now. And I've just wanted to alleviate a lot of that pressure that these stars face. Because as fans of the franchise, we don't know what kind of pressure they are faced with every day they open their eyes. And it's bad enough to be faced with that pressure and have that staring you in the face every time you look at yourself in the mirror every morning, when you're in your pajamas and your tank top and you're looking at yourself and you don't know if you're coming or going. It's bad enough that you're faced with that every single day of your life as you comb your hair. But you don't know what you're going to find when you Google yourself. And I've just wanted to create something that they could trust in and know that if they Googled my YouTube channel, they were going to hear something really nice about themselves. You know, where in the conversation does Kylie Control's political point of view belong? Where does, in the conversation, how somebody feels about Meg Donley's struggles with anxiety and identity crisis belong? It doesn't. If it belongs in the conversation, it belongs in a supportive way. And that's all I've ever wanted to give these stars, is the security of the future and know a future exists for each and every one of them. Do I think that Malachi Burton and Freya Sky, the words I'm searching for there, do I think that they will represent the Zombies franchise effectively in a very powerful way? Oh yeah, I do. I really do. I'm jealous that I never had the opportunity to be a part of the Zombies franchise. What was in that vortex, I really don't know. And I really don't care what's in that vortex, as long as it's something fun for each and every one of you to keep you guessing from one minute to the next. It's a real cliffhanger, if anything. We don't know what was in that vortex. I don't care what was in the vortex, as long as we get to Zombies 5. And each and every one of you have something to be excited about. That's why I put it out there earlier in one of my videos that if Disney ever considers selling the franchise to anybody, I will buy it. Money is no issue. I will buy it and I will direct it in the way that it was meant to be directed, and I will have more of a creative opportunity presented to the stars of it, which means they will have more creative freedom. I know that Zombies was the first franchise to bestow creative freedom on its stars, and the creative team in general, who had the majority of the creative energy scene. But I don't think enough creative energy was given to these stars. Let them create and let them see what they come up with. Let them see how they separate their character through character traits and the exemplification of a character, which is character psychology, which, if you don't know what that is, it's the study of how to bring a character to life and make it believable to the person or the audiences that are watching it from whatever age demographic you're trying to attract. I would make this the most enjoyable experience for the fans, the most enjoyable experiences for the team on Descendants and Zombies, an immersive experience, if anything. 3D concert experiences, more merch, all of it wrapped up into one. I think they are incredibly strong, incredibly fearless. I know they may be figuring out their own lives. I mean, who has their life figured out at 15 years old? When you talk about Freya Sky, I believe she will be 16 on October 17th. Happy early birthday, by the way, to you. I'll mark you in on my birthday celebration calendar. Meg Donley's birthday is actually in 3 days. Which, by the way, if you want to join me for, hit my subscribe button, because I will celebrate Meg Donley's birthday. I believe she's going to be 25. So happy early birthday to you, Meg Donley. I think you did a fabulous job carrying the torch for the Zombies franchise as long as you did. And now, because of that, you are sitting in the director's chair for Zombies. Pretty much like I would want to be sitting in the director's chair for Zombies. But if Jonathan Clarke was sitting in the director's chair for Zombies, a lot of stuff would happen. Jonathan Clarke would have so much creative energy, he would explode. I think my brain would explode. Because for those idiots out there, shout out to every idiot that is critiquing Zombies, saying that it's reached its end. No, it has not. And I don't think that any girl should ever believe that or buy into that. If you're going to listen to anybody on YouTube, you should listen to Jonathan Clarke about Descendants or Zombies, because he knows what's up. And long after I'm dead and gone, I want my legacy to be defined through the franchises that you are so proud to have become fans of. Long after I'm dead and gone, and my voice is no longer heard, what I want to be remembered for is being so proud to have been a fan of Descendants and Zombies. So proud that he would put $5,000 behind his YouTube channel and never look back since. I have commentated on a lot of niches over the years, but I have never felt so proud and so honored to have commentated on Descendants and Zombies, a franchise that has over 781 million hours of watch time for Descendants and 250 million hours for Zombies. That is unprecedented. That's a total of almost 100 million, a billion hours. Excuse me, a billion hours of watch time for two respective franchises in total. That's not including revenue, which is 22.5 million units sold, which is a far cry from what it could be. 22 million is nothing for me to pay to gain ownership of it, but I really want to have something special to do with this. What I'm trying to do with this show is I'm trying to keep it alive for each and every one of you, and I just want your support with this YouTube channel. I really do. Because a lot of the videos that you are seeing about Descendants and Zombies really makes no sense. How can somebody, it's one thing for somebody just to upload a video with their predictions in it where you see the host of what could be expected by the time we get to Zombies 5 and a release window, which we're looking at now to be mid-2027. I don't care about the thumbnails that are suggesting 2026 because it's way too early. Enough production begins way too early for this one, relatively early. How can somebody get on here with an AI video that runs anywhere from 5 to 12 minutes with footage from all 3 Zombies movies, or 4 Zombies movies, Dawn of the Vampires, the one with the aliens, the one with the werewolves, the one with the zombies in general? How could you get on here and just, 24 hours after Zombies 4 happens, talk about Zombies 5 with AI footage? You can't. You can't. I know you can't tell a story in 90 minutes to complete it, and that's why we will see Zombies 5, but you just can't get on here with AI footage from all previous movies and say, okay, here's Zombies 5, Mermaids and Witches. The thought of it in your mind is cute. Really. I love how a little girl at 5, 6 years old thinks we will see witches and zombies coexisting in one world, or how mermaids will become conflicted in this debacle. I love this so much. Because the one thing that separates Zombies from Descendants is that you kind of knew and could predict what was going to happen in Descendants. They were all going to live happily ever after. They told the story and completed it. Duh. But with Zombies, we didn't know what was going to happen from one minute to the next because of so many supernatural creatures having existed out there in the multiverse. Marvel has been criticized so many times over and over again for this multiverse. More than one Spider-Man, more than one Incredible Hulk. I love how the Hulk smashes, by the way. There are a lot of things that I love to smash in my life. I want to put it out there that I want to be the voice of the Incredible Hulk for an upcoming Marvel movie. But Marvel introduced us to the multiverse. More than one Hulk, more than one Spider-Man, more than one Captain America, which was really messed up. And a lot of people checked out of the multiverse stuff when it happened, but I stayed with it because it just created such an unpredictable universe of characters, endless amounts of possibilities, and that's why Meg Donley is such a huge superhero fan. I love how she says, I love Batman in Japanese. I would love to date a girl who could say, I love Batman in Japanese. I would love to date a girl who would just play video games just to get my attention, even if she's never played a video game before in her life. I would love to date a girl who would fall in love with Descendants or Zombies just because she knew I loved it. Meg Donley did that for so many relationships in her life, which means she's an incredible person. Through and through, she is an incredible person, and she should never doubt herself. Kylie Cantrell should not be crying herself to sleep every night because there are tears in her eyes over her political point of view and not having been a Donald Trump supporter. And Kylie, if I have to, I will run for President of the United States. Somebody is always hitting the subscribe button on this YouTube channel, which means my support is increasing, and it is levitating beyond the heights of anything that I could have ever expected on this YouTube channel. There are incredibly sweet people hitting my subscribe button all the time, so that means I'm gaining support. I am gaining attention, which means because I'm attracting attention and my campaign is growing, there is a greater chance that I will become President of the United States. Everybody will get Disney Plus for free, a free trip to Disney World, better health care, and a bigger budget allocated for Descendants and Zombies after I purchase the franchises and I move into Disney Creative. I will keep everybody on the Disney team. I may fire everybody as part of the social media department for telling them what they could say and what they couldn't, to kayfabe everything. But I will keep everybody at Disney on the payroll. They will just create, and I will be in control of it all. But yeah, I'm putting it out there that I either want to run for President of the United States, I want to buy the Descendants and Zombies franchises, or both, if not both. Because you have deserved to hear far better for far long enough now. I love how they introduced a Kung Fu Panda fighting chick who does karate. Freya Sky. I want to say this about Freya. I heard about her birth when I was over in Britain, and I was doing a podcast over there. That was in 2009, October of that year. News traveled to me about it, and I've been a huge fan of her ever since. Her first song came out in 2022. This new song she has, Gold Is Gone, she performed it on the Worlds Collide tour, just as Cotty Control performed a couple of her songs from her EP. Great stuff. I think she has a very prominent future with the Descendants and Zombies franchises as a whole, and you couldn't have passed it to anybody better in the way of a torch. Hopefully she doesn't drop it. I expect big things from her, and Malachi Burton is somebody who I'm very fond of. It is very rarely that you'll hear me putting over a guy as part of Disney Channel and Disney Plus that they have promoted. I've said a lot of really outrageous things about Ryan McCartan, Thomas Doherty, Austin Moon, Ross Lynch is the name I'm searching for there. I have never said anything good about a lot of guys on Disney Channel with the exception of Cameron Boyce. But I think I can make an exception when it comes to Malachi Burton. I have no doubt that the future of the Zombies has been secured because of them. And yes, I do agree with everybody who ever said that they do look cute together. They really do look cute together. They are very adorable. And I will forever praise them to the heights of unbelievableness. And I will definitely bask in the shadow of their greatness. Because I think that Meg Donley and Milo Manheim did a fantastic job, a fabulous job with the casting of this. I perhaps couldn't have done any better. I've always envisioned myself kicking the ass of 1,000 zombies because I'm incredibly strong. I have a lot of muscle. I lift weights and stuff. So, yeah, I'd probably just be somebody who would, be in all these high action scenes and just love having the opportunity to hear the action bell go off and 1,000 zombies coming at me from the left, coming at me from the right, which you girls can make happen by hitting the subscribe button. Because I'm going to let you in on a little secret. There are hundreds, if not thousands, if not millions of Descendants and Zombies videos uploaded to the YouTube.com website every night, to this platform every night. But you will never find videos that are this much more interesting or this much more fun than these videos on this YouTube channel. Somehow or some way, you guys made me the voice of Descendants and Zombies. And when I couldn't make sense of my own life, what direction my life and my career was heading in personally and professionally, you guys helped me make sense of it, because a girl is really, that's all that's ever made sense to me in this life. And I just want you to know how incredibly supportive you have been of this YouTube channel, because without you, I would never have came back. You brought this YouTube channel out of darkness and back into the light, and you brought Jonathan Clarke back on YouTube. After an incredibly 25-year career, I thought it ended. When I hung up the headset 7.5 years ago, I thought I was gone. And I was just going to fade off into obscurity. Nobody was ever going to remember my name. I had people that I were friends with that would look me in the face and tell me that nobody was ever going to know what I did. Nobody was ever going to hear my story. Nobody was going to ever hear my explanation. People would look me dead in the face. Friends of mine would look me dead in the face after I would turn off this podcast and say nobody was ever going to know what I did. No one was ever going to hear about me. No one was ever going to know who I was. But now look at me. You say that to 3,000 girls who have subscribed to this YouTube channel because they saw the good in me. I don't know where those idiots are that used to criticize me all the time, but I don't know about you guys, but I feel very safe talking about this niche. There is just something very comforting about knowing that some girl is going to find your thumbnail, she's going to love your video, and she's going to hit the like button 1,000 times because her heart doesn't know any better. And that's all her heart knows, is that she loves Descendants and Zombies, and she knows that some guy out there loves it that much that he would create 1,000 videos about Descendants and Zombies for her to hit his like button. You guys have incredible hearts and incredible futures ahead of you, and don't ever let anybody sell you short or tell you any different, because your futures are going to be incredible, and I can't wait to see where you go from here, having been fans of Descendants and Zombies, because ultimately that was the message of Descendants and Zombies. To not just hit Jonathan Clarke's like and subscribe button 1,000 times over, mind you, but it was to be stronger. And because of zombies, people are signing up for the gym more now. I would imagine there's a girl who lifts weights watching this video now who's going to hit my subscribe button, because that's what zombies wanted you to become, as a stronger person and not to be afraid of anything. And it's just beautiful. The messages of these franchises are beautiful. I stand by them. I don't think I've said anything wrong about it, because I just want to be incredibly supportive of it. And that's more than you're going to hear from any other YouTube creator on YouTube that you'll find on this platform tonight, because they don't know the first thing about zombies. I'll be the first to admit to you, I checked out of The Walking Dead a long time ago. When I saw by season 5, man, I was gone. But each and every one of you just never ever quit on me because you saw the good in me when nobody else did, and before anyone could ever see the good in me. And because of that, I just want to say thank you. From my heart to yours, thank you so much for always having believed in this YouTube channel. I don't know when Zombies 5 is going to happen. I'm just saying the release window looks like somewhere mid-2027. We know Descendants will be released sometime in 2026. But I've got a lot to say where that goes. And I just want you to know that without you guys, without each and every one of you girls who love these franchises so much, which I recognize the popularity of and I respect you for, I will never go away. I will always be here, and this will always be your show, which is very different from any other show that you've heard allocate itself towards Descendants and Zombies. Allocate the time for Descendants and Zombies, which is a franchise that has touched my heart in so many ways. I know, I don't know everything, but I know that I will never forget any of you guys for just how incredibly supportive you are when you saw the good in me when nobody else did. And you have given me even more reason than I've ever had before to stay calm and zombie on. From my heart to yours, thank you so much. There will be a Zombies 5. We just don't know when. I'm saying mid-2027. Hit my like button 1,000 times. Hit my subscribe button 1,000,000 times over. And boost this YouTube channel to the heights of unprecedentedness. I love when I see the subscribers going up all the time. And you can help me out with that because your kindness really does go a long way. So I guess the only thing left to be said is to stay calm and zombie on. If I get like, I don't know, 5, 6 subscribers, I'll come back tonight. We'll see how this video performs after I put it out and upload it. Bye, YouTube. Let's go spread some kindness right now.